Welcome, foolish mortals, back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of the Disney Plus project. So we're back, at least a little bit closer on track this week.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we're still kind of getting used to our schedules. I haven't gone to bed yet. She just woke up. So it's been a little bit to get used to, but we're getting there. So we finally got a chance to watch Gordon Ramsay Uncharted. Finally. Well, I mean, you were laying down in bed watching it, but...
I still watched it.
You still watched it. So yeah, we finally got around to it, so that's what we're going to talk about this week. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are not subscribed already. And make sure to leave us a like and a comment and let us know what other Disney Plus shows or movies we should watch. So, right off the bat, I absolutely loved this show. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I like anything with Gordon Ramsay in it because I think he's hilarious, but you know.
Yeah, he is really funny. And, I mean, he's absolutely brilliant with food, too, which is pretty fun to watch.
I mean, there's that, yes, but, like, I just think he's hilarious, and I like watching him insult people and cuss.
Which, I mean, he didn't do... He did curse in this one, but he didn't insult people.
He didn't insult people.
He trash-talked the
cook.
Yeah, I can't remember the chef's name. It was hard to pronounce.
That he was going up against, yeah.
Yeah. So the entire idea of this show, of Gordon Ramsay Uncharted, is that Gordon Ramsay is going to different countries and different areas and out of the way areas out in the middle of nowhere to kind of find different ways of cooking, different flavors and things like that. And so that's the whole idea. And so the first episode of the series is he goes to Peru, but he goes like deep into the Andes Mountains. So he spends a week learning the culture and the different foods and flavors kind of around the area, and that culture finds as delicacies and different things like that. So that was one of the things I really liked about it, was that you through Gordon Ramsay learning all this stuff, you get to learn about the culture of the area and the foods of that area that are the ones that are grown there, and why they grow in the places they do and why they use them and different things like that. And so it was really fun to watch, I thought. But then at the end of that week, after learning all of this stuff, he then goes to some big chef from there. So this is a really famous chef from Peru. And he has a cook-off against them. They do a cooking battle. Yeah. And so it was a lot of fun to watch.
No, it was. I like it a lot. Like I said, I like anything with Gordon Ramsay in it. I just think he's hilarious. Definitely learning about some of the things out there was interesting. Like the blue potatoes and
one was blue and one was red.
And how that is because of the high altitude. The higher the altitude, the richer the color is in it, and the deeper the color is in it.
Yeah.
Or the creepy caterpillar worms things that lived in cactuses that they ate.
So he had to go up he was on the side of this cliff, and this cliff was about 14,000 feet up, I think is what he said?
Yeah.
11,500, something like that. And he had to go over to this side of this cliff and lasso a cactus on the side of this cliff to pull the cactus up so that they could cut the cacti in half. They got two of them. They had to cut the cacti in half to get these worms out of them. Those worms are a delicacy. And the guy that was with them, Hadesh or something like that, I don't remember what his name was, and he had said that this delicacy tasted like a cross between shrimp and calamari. And so then Gordon Ramsay tried, he got him and they cooked him up, and he took a bite of it and immediately spit it out.
He said it tastes like crispy cockroach.
It tasted like a crispy cockroach.
I don't know how he knows what a crispy cockroach tastes like.
He's tried everything.
Obviously not.
Just about. He's tried just about everything. Any normal thing, he's tried. Because cockroaches and grasshoppers and things are delicacies in say China.
Yeah.
They roast them and stuff. Yeah. So, but no, it was a lot of fun to watch, and he's very respectful of them. That's one of the things I was pretty proud of while I was watching, is he's very respectful of the people. Oh, yeah. And this is a show where you get to see a different side of Gordon Ramsay. It's not the kind of, which is mostly stage acting too, his really aggressive and demeanor and stuff. Yeah, that's not really how he is. That's really just a stage presence. But in this one, you get to see the real Gordon Ramsay, and he's really, really sweet, and he's really patient. He was playing with the little kids on the one farm. He was playing with them. He was I think he was supposed to be wetting down the stone, and he was flinging water at the little
Yeah,
kid.
he was washing the grinding stone.
Yeah.
And he was flinging water at the little boy. His name was Sebastian.
Sebastian, yeah. And he was flinging water at him, and he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why that keeps happening." And like, it was just really fun to watch, and just his interactions with all the locals. Like, he was very kind to them, and he was, paid really close attention to what they were showing him.
Yeah.
And so it's a version of Gordon Ramsay that you don't get to see in other shows like Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmare, like
Kitchen
whatever they all.
But I guess if you think about it though, because he wasn't like that on the kids version of Hell's Kitchen. He was real like patient with these kids and everything, and even like his videos on TikTok where he's critiquing people's cooking,
which are awesome. They're so funny,
hilarious. But he's not like aggressive or like overly mean to them.
No.
I think it's just a matter of like, you're looking at Kitchen Nightmares where these like stuck up people who think their kitchen there's nothing wrong with it, and he goes in there and he's like, no, this is all wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry. He cusses, so that I naturally, that's exactly what he would have said.
It's okay, I can bleep it out, that'll be fine.
But, and then like in like Hell's Kitchen, it's like he's trying to get these people to the point where they are at that high level of competency for cooking. He expects them to be the next Gordon Ramsay. He wants them to be great, and
they usually go in there with big heads.
They go in there thinking that they're already great, and he has to knock them down a couple pegs to build them back up.
He has to look at it and say, "No, you are not as good as you think you are." You need to knock it, and so it's really just meant to poke a bubble or to poke a hole in their ego bubble is what it is.
But with this, he's going into somebody else's culture,
and he's learning from there. He is the student.
Yeah, so he's very respectful, which is, like I said, what I would expect from that situation.
And even I think he's in his late 40s or his 50s or something like that.
I think he's in his 50s.
Yeah, he's like in his 50s or something like that. Regardless, but
because his daughter is like late teens.
But even as a man in his his 50s or whatever he is very receptive to learning these things, and he's very quick. At least, I mean, you don't see some of the behind the scenes things, so you don't see how long it takes him to learn some of these things. But for the most part, from what it seems like, is that he's able to pick things up pretty quickly. But yeah, he's very patient while he's learning, because he's like, I'm like a master chef. I can cook all these amazing things. I have all these restaurants. But he can take his ego down when he knows, I know nothing about this. I know nothing about the Andean cuisine culture. And that first one that he made when he was at that farm on the very first day,
where he's
with the kids,
he's like, oh my gosh, you have to hand grind all these potatoes,
into a flour,
and then you have to hike up this stinking hill and then down into this ravine, and he's just like, oh my gosh.
He gained a lot more respect for their culture, because the guy that was doing that, they had to hike into that little ravine to go get the one, like, it's essentially a little herb. It's essentially, he compared it to thyme, I think. It's what he compared it to. He said that's what it looked like.
Yeah,
It's like grows down in this little ravine in like a river, or like next to this river, and so he had to go down there. But this like old man who was probably closer in his 70s or something like that, made that hike every day, and he was like, I can't even do this now once. And so he had a lot of respect for them. But that first dish that they were making for him was like a lamb and potato stew of some sort. I don't remember the actual name for it.
Yeah, they did a lamb and potato stew. And then they also had a roasted guinea pig.
Yes, roasted guinea pig.
Which
I bet that traumatized you.
Broke my heart a little bit. No, like, because I knew, like, even outside of like other cultures eating guinea pig, that guinea pigs are also used as feeders for large snakes. So like, I have an understanding that guinea pigs are not just pets in the same way that rats and mice are not just pets.
Right.
And so like, it wasn't terrible, but it was like a little heartbreaking knowing that they like have these things in their house.
Yeah, the guinea pigs are just like living in their house.
Like,
and
how
they're just like, all right, it's your turn.
Like, how do you not build a connection with that animal? Like, I could never work on a farm. I could never
Years
do
of practice.
it. Never could work on a farm. It doesn't matter.
I will say that lamb and potato stew thing that they made looked absolutely amazing. I wanted to try that because it looked so good.
I'm hesitant just because food in general makes me hesitant.
That's true.
But
I'm not as hesitant anymore.
Yeah, no, and I'm not like unwilling to try things. I just, I'm very hesitant because I have so many unknown allergies.
That's true.
Like, I look at that and I'm like, there's herbs in that. Could I be allergic to those herbs?
Yeah. But no, and all the stuff they made, with the exception of like the one, the other chef made a alpaca brain salad thing, and I think one of the things that Gordon made for the cook-off was a roasted alpaca heart. And I was like, yeah, those I wouldn't eat, but the rest of it looks good.
I would try it because I've had...
Not me. I wouldn't be able to get past it.
I actually really like chicken heart and chicken liver and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I probably would try it.
Yeah, no, you can have it.
It's just another one of those things that, like, I would have a hard time being, like, a farmer or a rancher because alpacas are really freaking cute. And then you, like, kill them and eat them. That's really kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah. You do what you gotta do.
Well, I know. But I don't have to do that, so I don't want to.
But yeah, so I would recommend this show especially for people who are, like, want to learn about some of these other cultures, or who are, again, it's Gordon Ramsay, so anybody who's interested in like food, but just like food culture, like it's like the best of both worlds for me right now, because I love culture and I love cooking.
Yeah,
you know, and so it's a really good cross for that.
This fits in like several target audience, like reality TV show, which is why I like it. I'm all about that kind of stuff. If it's into people who are interested in other cultures and history buffs, things like that, because it's like in this episode they're using like Incan techniques to make food. So this is like a little bit of a history lesson too. You're also looking at people who like cooking.
Yep.
And then there's also just the people who like Gordon Ramsay, which I also fall into.
Yeah.
Because you could care less about any of the other stuff, but like Gordon Ramsay, and watch this and be interested.
And again, I mean, it's obviously not a kids show, because kids are going to find this very boring for the most part. Some kids might not.
I was going to say, it depends. I think a
depends
little
on the
bit
kid.
older kids might be interested in it. Just depending on if they're interested in cooking
on what their
and
interests
things like
are,
that.
or like culture or anything like that. But for the most part, any of the kids that I've ever met would find this super boring. Up until they're probably like 16, 17, 18 at least.
Yeah, I'm thinking like middle school, late middle school, early high school age probably.
Yeah.
Unless you have like a little kid who's real into cooking.
Yeah, which could happen. But yeah, it was really, really good. So let's look at Disney Plus and figure out what we're going to watch over the next few weeks. Okay, so we have our next 3 shows / movies, or whatever I think they're all shows. They're all shows that we are going to watch over the next few weeks. So we're going to start with Disney Insider, and then Secrets of the Zoo, and then Star Wars Clone Wars, because Anna has not watched any of that yet. And
except for briefly when I watched Yoda on there.
Yeah, Aiden wanted to watch Yoda. He became obsessed with Yoda for a little bit, but he would not pay attention to it unless Yoda was on the screen. Yeah. And so she didn't pay attention to like any of it.
So it didn't last long.
So we'll actually make her sit down and watch it this time. I mean, I've been trying to get you to watch Star Wars stuff for a while, because you want to watch most or all of it before we ride Rise of the Resistance.
I need to know what I'm getting myself into when it comes to all this, like all the Easter eggs and stuff inside the ride, and if I don't know any of them.
Yeah, so that will be our list for the next three weeks. So that is all we want to talk about today. So thank you all for joining us this week, and we hope to see you all again next week. And until then, don't forget
to thank the Phoenicians.